that system works as it did between 1933 and 1981. So this idea that that government did not work was an attempt to put back in place the system that we had between 1981 and 2021. And that's the idea that what the government really should do is it should not regulate business, it should not protect workers, it should not provide a basic social safety net, it should not invest in infrastructure, because all of those things will prevent a very few people from concentrating their wealth so that they can invest it in ways that theoretically will be more efficient and will make the economy grow more quickly. So what you're seeing now with the election of Donald Trump as president was the attempt of the richest man in the world, that's Elon Musk, who's worth more than $330 billion and who invested in Trump's campaign $132 million of cash, plus the in-kind donation of X, the use of his social media site, plus a super PAC that ran misleading ads in key counties. What you're seeing is now this idea of this old system from 1981 to 2021. It's actually called neoliberalism, if you care, or supply side economics, is we're going to see that again, but we're going to see it on steroids, because now, of course, Musk does not need the federal government for anything and has vowed to cut $2 trillion out of the budget, which is would basically get rid of all the discretionary spending of the U.S. budget. And a lot of people are saying that can't happen. That's what he has said he's going to do. And the first thing that they have looked at cutting actually is veterans' health benefits. Again, not clear that that will go through, but it's a different way of looking at the economy. And there's a really great example of this that was in the news in mid-November. And that was that the Biden administration passed a rule that said that if you made between, and these are approximate, $35,000 and about $49,000, that your employer had to pay you overtime if you worked extra hours if you were in that income bracket, because what was possible under the Trump administration, who set the $35,000 limit, was that if you made more than that you could be considered a salaried employee, and therefore you could be forced to work extra hours without getting paid. The Biden administration raised that to be about $49,000, so that if you worked between $35,000 and $49,000, your employer would have to pay you overtime if you worked extra hours. Well, in mid-November, a Trump-appointed judge said the government can't do that, so that anybody who's in that bracket from $39,000 to about $49,000 now can be considered salaried and can't be considered eligible for overtime. A place where it would certainly seem to me that's not good for people who make in that income bracket between $35,000 and $50,000 or $49,000. But that's again something that voters have to decide. But this idea that somehow it's the Democrats who are against working people and the Republicans who are for them is, I think, illuminated a little bit by these two very different philosophies. Should the government invest in ordinary people with the idea that expanding their purchasing power supports the economy as well as making their lives better? Or should the government say, no, we want to concentrate wealth among a very few people because they will invest more efficiently in the economy? So there is my quick explainer about the way that the American economy has worked since for about 100 years and the ideologies behind it. So when we look at things going forward in the next administration, you can decide for yourselves, is this part of an ideology that says invest in ordinary people, or is it part of an ideology that says invest in people at the very top? And which one of those do you think is better for you? Thanks for being here.